join me on this episode as I explore Palazzo Vecchio. As always, thumbs up, subscribe, bell notifications on. I'll see you at the top of the tower of the Palazzo Vecchio. In all of its glory, the sun behind, it looks fantastic. And later today, I'm going to climb up that tower, the Arnolfo Tower. Looking forward to that. And we're coming into the Piazza della Signoria. So significant politically, culturally, this piazza. The seat of government for centuries and centuries. The house of the Medici from the 16th century. So the tour I'm about to embark on involves three components: the climb to the tower, outside here, and within the palace itself. Now, I've read some comments that a few people who have booked tickets online found it difficult to actually pick them up. They didn't know where to go. So it's in the palaces. Now look, there are two side entrances, one here, one down the side street there. But what would the Medici do? Would they do the side door? No. We're going to go in through the front door. I'll show you where to go and where the ticket office is, okay? So follow me, let's go. And the main entrance to go through is right here in front of me. So let's come up the steps. Just imagine the Medici doing this back in the day. Now, to the right of these doors, there's some graffiti on the wall over there. I'll show you and talk about that a little bit later. Isn't it lovely in here? And directly across through the next set of doors is the ticket office, where you can pick up your online purchases or buy a ticket there and then as well. The work in here is astounding, isn't it? Just fantastic. So the ticket office is through here. And look, there's the side entrance that I was telling you about on both sides. But as I suggest, you go through the main entrance. Why not? Treat yourself. Just like the Medici, they'd never use a side door. There's a ticket office right there. So I purchased my tickets online through Tiqets. So it's ticket with a Q. Yeah, so once you pick up your ticket, you get an audio guide as well, which I ended up turning off, and because I like doing my research and reading personally myself. Well, let's have a little bit of a look around outside, okay? The Piazza della Signoria has been the centre of political life in Florence since the 14th century, with the prominent Palazzo Vecchio overlooking the square. It has celebrated great triumphs and also agonising punishments, highlighted by this plaque, a marble circle inscription indicating that Savonarola was himself burnt at the stake here in 1498 after being denounced by the Inquisition as a heretic. Enjoy marvelling at the sculptures in the Piazza della Signoria. Neptune celebrates Medici's maritime ambitions, and Michelangelo's David, the original of course, is in Academia. Hercules, to the right of David, was appropriated by the Medici to show their physical power after their return from exile. The Loggia dei Lanzi, which sits on the right of Palazzo Vecchio, functions as an open-air sculpture gallery and was designed by Orcagna in 1376. There are presently some beautiful sculptures, such as the statue of Perseus holding Medusa's head, a stark reminder of what happened to those who crossed the Medici, and the rape of the Sabines. These are two of many beautiful sculptures found under the arches of the Loggia dei Lanzi. And what about the pageantry we saw a little bit earlier? Just amazing. That happens quite a lot here in Florence, particularly on the weekends, and sometimes you catch them when they're doing their warm-ups. Check this out, you'll know what I mean. And as a coach, what would you say? Stop taking selfies. Start warming up. Do some stretching. Get off your phones. Have a look at these two guys, by the way. See them there on the left? Phones out. Aren't the colours wonderful? Now here's an interesting one. Can you see the etchings in that brick? Michelangelo's graffiti, apparently. Now, there's several stories as to why this came about, but the one I like is that he got caught in a conversation with this character who would go on and on with this story, and Michelangelo became so bored that he just decided to start scribbling, doodling with his chisel, I guess, and that's what he came up with. Now, is it an image of the guy that was talking to him? We just don't know, do we? But it's pretty amazing. Now I'm standing where in 1497 there was a huge bonfire where artefacts, luxury items, lovely clothing, books were all burnt, and that was really instigated by Savonarola, a priest who had quite a big following here in Florence. But in doing that, he really got himself in trouble with the church, and consequently, the next year, in 1498, he was executed just where I stand. Now, burnt at the stake, hung, I'm not sure the order of which, but ultimately it led to his downfall, and I would imagine quite a painful death. I guess the moral of the story is don't mess with those in charge. And here's a spot right here. Now the Visari Corridoor that starts from the palace here and heads across the Uffizi Museum over the Palazzo Vecchio bridge up to the Pitti Palace, enabling the Medicis to walk above the common people. I guess in a way it would save them from having to dress up for the occasion. They could walk along in their leisure wear, perhaps. Okay, so 1564 that was built, and interestingly it only took 5 months to build that 1 kilometre corridor. Pretty amazing. Now it's been closed for several years due to renovations and safeguarding mainly, and I've just heard it's going to reopen. It is reopening next May 2024, so I'm really looking forward to walking along that corridor and just feeling like a Medici. Nice view of Hercules there. Good glutes, by the way, good glutes. It's a lovely view, isn't it? And look, I'll be up at the top of the Arnolfo Tower very, very shortly. Right, so I'm in the palace and I've got to go up to the 2nd floor to climb up the tower. So who said Florence is busy? Let's keep climbing. Yes, I got my ticket online. I only booked it 2 or 3 days ago. I noticed this morning when I got here it was sold out, but there's no one here, honestly. Like, Florence is packed, but where is everyone? I've done the tower first today. I mean, they recommended going to start outside, go to the museum, then the tower. But I know what outside is like. So I thought, let's go to the tower first. And I think that was a good decision. Hey, look at that. I'm puffing a little bit too. That's wonderful. Now, if you were a naughty person, this is perhaps one of the rooms you would have been thrown into. Still working. That's locked. Locked away. Hey, quite spacious actually, quite spacious, and you do get a nice view. And the thing is, if you're locked away back in the day, you wouldn't have even had to pay for this lovely hotel room with river views. Okay, so we're getting a bit closer to the very top. The view. Personally, this is better than being up on top of the Duomo, I believe. There's the Santa Croce Basilica. Uffizi Museum down below. Oh look, the Pitti Palace. See that there? And we can see just below the arm of the crane the Visari Corridoor, which is over the Ponte Vecchio bridge, and the hills that roll out into Tuscany. Piazza della Signoria, a long, long way below. This is 95 metres in height, the tower here at the Palazzo Vecchio, the old palace. And really, I'm reshuffling my things to see and do in Florence, and this should be a must on your visit. Now, if you've seen my episode related to rooftop bars, it's about 2 weeks ago, that's it there. Right, so we're up the top.
Buongiorno.
Buongiorno. And apart from the staff that work here, I'm the only one here, would you believe? This is crazy. The cressellations, very typical of our medieval towers. And look, that's the very top up there. And just to prove my point, it's crowded, isn't it? Okay, so I'm heading back down. So I've got to go to the museum next, which is on the second floor. Okay, just use your imagination. Just imagine you're locked up in this tower, and look, there's no heating, no air conditioning. It'd be pretty brutal. With throw in a little bit of torture too. Wouldn't be your ideal first choice of accommodation, would it? Okay, let's have a look at this one. So locked, can't get in, but little window. And if we have a look in, this is a small, very small cell with a little hole to do you know what, I guess. But look at the size of this. Imagine being locked up in there for a long, long time. So how did they build this back in the day? Construction starting in the 13th century. It just never ceases to amaze me. The expertise that they had without any mechanisation to help. Okay, so on this level of the tower, it's a bit wider. And you've got your battlement windows that the archers would shoot through, and then you've got these little trapdoors. Okay, with a grate, but I don't know how they were used back in medieval times. Drop some rocks down, I don't know. Bring supplies up. A great little window to look out of here. Check it out. Right, now I love hanging out of windows, by the way. Look at that cafe there. That actually is the cafe at the Uffizi Museum, the open air section. So just inside, you order your drink, you can come out, sit down and marvel at the beautiful facade of the Palazzo Vecchio, the building that I'm currently hanging out of now. The museum within the Palazzo Vecchio features a collection of art and historical artefacts, offering insights into the Medici's patronage of the arts and their impact on Florence's cultural development. The Medici apartments and museum provide a unique opportunity to step back in time and appreciate the rich history and artistic heritage of the Medici family and the city of Florence during the Renaissance. we gain a fascinating glimpse into the opulent world of the Medici family, one of the most influential and powerful dynasties in Renaissance Florence. The Medici apartments are a collection of lavishly decorated rooms on the second floor of the Palazzo Vecchio, which served as the private residence of the Medici rulers. Here you can explore the various rooms, each adorned with intricate frescoes, ornate ceilings and elegant furnishings. Some of the notable rooms include the Chapel of the Signoria, the Hall of Jupiter and the Hall of Priors. These spaces not only display the family's wealth and influence, but also showcase the artistic and cultural achievements of the Renaissance period. Once considered a death mask, Dante Alighieri, the father of Italian language and literature, died in exile and was buried in 1321 in Ravenna because he had been banished from Florence. The vast hall, as we see here, is the centrepiece of the museum and is adorned with monumental frescoes depicting significant events in Florentine history. The Museum of the 500 is a significant cultural and historical attraction in Florence, and I encourage you to visit it. It will provide you an opportunity to immerse yourself in art, history and politics from this remarkable Renaissance era. And finally, the movie Inferno, the 2016 mystery thriller directed by Ron Howard and based on the novel of the same name by Dan Brown, has one of the key locations, the Museum of the 500. Just thought I'd throw that in for our movie lovers. So on top of the Arnolfo Tower of the Palazzo Vecchio, overlooking Duomo behind me, minus the crowds. This is a must-do visit for sure. Expat Lifestyle with Bads. Please, thumbs up, subscribe, bell notifications on. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Ciao.